Welcome to the third episode of the Two Birds, One Stone podcast. Today is Monday, September 20th. And yesterday, the Cardinals improved to 2-0 with a 34-33 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. Barely squeaked by at the end. Garrett, initial thoughts of the victory?
Sweet, but not so cool. You know what I mean? Like, it was awesome, but not so cool.
It was one of those. Go ahead.
You just would love to see the Cardinals kick the shit out of the Vikings because they're the Vikings and just lost to the Bengals last week. But I've kind of learned with the Cardinals, you have to take them where you can get them, and you take it 1 week at a time.
I would say that's perfectly accurate. We were talking yesterday, and it's like the Cardinals played a bad game, and they still won. So, like in the past, the Cardinals play a bad game, we lose 55-0 or whatever. Right. That Seattle Seahawks game was like 3 years ago when I think it was 58-0. Terrible horse shit. Like, we played a bad game. Kyler had a couple bad plays, but I mean, same deal. He just keeps making plays over and over and over again, where it seemed like despite the mistakes, like it was just too much for the Vikings. So the Vikings played perfect. They played perfect game. Kirk Cousins had a perfect pass rating after the first half. Dalvin Cook averaged nearly 8 yards a carry. Their offensive line.
Dalvin Cook is good. I didn't realize Dalvin Cook was that good. I don't know. I know he's like a fantasy monster, but he looked like Barry Sanders. Like, I did not realize he looked quick. He was, I don't know. I didn't know he was that good.
Very shifty. Yeah. We come into week 2 and it's like, okay, Derrick Henry under 60 yards, we're going to manhandle. It'll be the same deal again. No problem. Dalvin Cook is a different animal.
And I feel like they're just different kinds of backs, because I feel like Dalvin Cook is just more, like you said, shifty and more of a speed back, and Henry's more of obviously power because he's huge.
Yeah, their offensive line, I mean, good God, some of those holes. Like, the defensive line played terrible. Let's not cover that up. Like, it was ugly. Like, the PFF grades came out for the defensive line grades. The highest graded member of the Cardinals front seven was J.J. Watt with a 42.8 grade. Second highest, Chandler Jones at 29.8. And then down the list, Zaven Collins, only 26.5 against the run.
It's never good.
Extremely ugly. That makes me want to puke, actually, after just reading those numbers. But like I said, the offense will drive you crazy a little bit. And Kyler made mistakes, and there were false starts, but it got the job done. They moved the ball, and we scored points. And that's all you can really ask for.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing with, which we've talked about this before, is the offense put up points and the offense was fine. Well, they were good. They were better than fine. My thing is, which we will get to, we're only going to go as far as Kyler can go. And whenever Kyler's making those 2 mistakes, it's only 2 mistakes. He still had a really, really good game, but I know that they're like, he's not held back by his physical limitations. It's all mental. It's all just stuff that he can fix. Like, that's why it's so frustrating for me, because yes, he had a great game. Yes, he's probably top 3, top 4 in MVP voting for this year already in 2 weeks, which is way too early. But it's just, I know that we're only going to go as far as Kyler will take us. And whenever, if you make those 2 mistakes against the Rams, it probably doesn't work out well. We probably won't have a missed 34-7-yard field goal at the end to win us the game,
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to complain because at the end of the day, it was a win. But like you said, we're going to go as far as Kyler can take us, which I'm perfectly fine with. I think he's special. I think he's a top 3 quarterback already, but those have to be cleaned up. If there's that much weight on his shoulders, then he has to play mistake free. And maybe that's something that we need to get better on. The run game wasn't great. Chase, I think his yards per carry weren't bad, but it didn't seem like the volume of carries was there very much.
I think that also kind of is because we were playing behind for the first part of the game, and we were just trying to score points and keep up. But I thought Chase looked fine. I thought James Conner, he wasn't as impressive as he was week 1, but he's he's our second option. He was fine. Like I said, the offense was fine. We put up how many points? 34. The offense was fine. My biggest thing, obviously, is the defense and the run defense.
Yeah, and we'll get to the defense, but yeah, Kyler again, not as much production on the ground. He had that red zone touchdown again. It seems like they are kind of trying to limit his like designed runs. There's a shit ton of RPOs. There always will be a shit ton of RPOs, but it seems like he's running to throw a lot more, like at least in the first 2 weeks of the season, than he has in the years past. Hopkins started off hot. 4 catches and 54 yards in the first quarter, and including that touchdown on Peterson. But he had no catches after that. Not a single catch in the second, third, or fourth quarter.
Dude, that sucks because I hate Patrick Peterson so much, and I think we all do. But from what I saw, Peterson was manning him up for the most part of the game, right? I get. Hey, whenever tip your cap. I mean, tip your cap. He hops top 3 in the game. I mean, Patrick Peterson, I guess, still has a little bit of life in him.
Yeah, and then well, there's stats for Peterson. Peterson actually, he was targeted. I think, like Kyler had a perfect passer rating when targeting Patrick Peterson. I don't know how the cards fell that way. Why he wasn't targeted more than I think that
he's doing a good job if he's not targeted more.
Yeah, I think that Peterson was charged with the coverage on that Rondale Moore play on that busted coverage. I think that was his assignment. So that goes into consideration. So I think overall he was targeted 5 times, 5 completions for like 98 yards and like 2 touchdowns or something. So Peterson on paper played terribly, but I mean, Hopkins.
He looked good. I'll admit it. Peterson looked good.
The numbers don't lie.
Good for him. Good for Vikings.
I mean, if I was told before the game that Hopkins only had 4 catches, I would think that we lost. So I think that's a general theme. If we were to go through the majority of these numbers, especially defensively, we would have assumed that this was not a game that we walk away winning. Plus side on the offense, Rondale Moore kind of coming out party. 7 catches, 114 yards, including that long touchdown that we just talked about on Peterson. That was one of those plays we talked about last week. Kyler makes 3 or 4 a game where, okay, you're about to shit your pants. Crap, is he going to get sacked? 15-yard loss, whatever. He makes a play. He spins out to his opposite hand, rolling left, twist around. I think I saw he was running like 16 miles an hour when he threw that ball, which is crazy, insane to be able to put that much on it on the move like that. Rondale Moore had absolutely nobody around him, blown coverage by the Vikings, but a 77-yard touchdown, which is awesome to see. Just like Moore getting involved in that kind of stuff. Like, because it's one thing to set him up on the screens and all that kind of like the quick throws that are designed to just get him the ball right away. See him involved in kind of like a play like that where it breaks down and he's got the wherewithal to keep moving around and find an open spot. I think that's big.
Which I'm curious about how. So to me, Rondale Moore is kind of like what Christian Kirk was hoped to be. You know what I mean? A nice, quick, get the ball, make a couple people miss and get some yak yards. I'm very curious to see how he handles week 3. If we kind of get more of the same, because Christian Kirk's big thing with me is, sure, he'll go off like week 1 for 2 touchdowns, but then you won't hear from him again for the next 2-3 weeks. I'm just curious to see if it can be consistent with Rondale.
Yeah. And Christian, maybe the numbers don't jump out at you, but he had a few. I mean, he made that 4th down grab where Kyler throws off his back. He showed up in spots, and then there was another one. I think it was like 3rd and 15, and he finds a spot in the middle of the field, and Kyler just threw that dart in between 2 guys, secures it and makes plays. So Christian's still out there making plays. I think they're different players. They're being used differently, but I don't know. It is interesting because Rondale Moore is the leading receiver on this team right now. He has more yards than Hopkins, more catches than Hopkins, and Hopkins has 3 TDs, but he's leading the team in receiving yards as of week 2. So he's definitely involved. It's something that we haven't seen early for like young Cardinal receivers. Go back to Kirk. You mentioned Kirk. It's kind of a slow build for him. And that Rosen rookie year, and then Isabella again didn't play
Hey,
at all this game.
I don't even know if he. I don't even know if he was in the building. I think they forgot he had a game or something.
We're gonna stay away from Andy Isabella.
Yeah.
But another plus on offense, Max Williams with 7 catches for 94 yards. It's awesome to see the tight end get involved in the offense.
Yeah.
He's from Minnesota, so that's a homecoming game of sorts for him. So awesome to see him involved. We talked about mistakes on the offense. I kind of put some numbers together. I know it's 2 weeks. I know there's a lot that can happen between now and the end of the season, but the Cardinals through after week 2, they are scoring 36 points per game. They're averaging 445 yards per game, over 7 yards of play, 330 passing yards per game, 119 and a half rushing yards per game, 78% red zone touchdown percentage, and only 3 total turnovers. That's very impressive on paper.
Yep. Offense is hot. I mean, it's like you said, week 2, but still, I mean, if our offense could put up 30 plus points a game, which I think they have the capability to, especially if Rondale Moore keeps on playing how he is, and we see some keep on seeing production from our tight end spot. And then our rushing game too. I feel like we're going to be a tough team to beat. It's just, I think our not downfall, but our issue right now is the defense.
Yeah. Defense and penalties. Penalties we kind of saw a lot from last year. We expect a little bit more from the defense. Who knows? Maybe that's an off week. I talked a little bit about grades earlier. Snap percentage, Zaven, he played a little bit more. I think his snap percentage went up by 7%. So he was on the field a little more than week 1, but still he didn't jump off the screen at me because he's not getting the playing time enough. He had a couple pass breakups that were big. I think that second or third Vikings drive, they made a stop on 3rd and short, and he was one that broke up the pass. So little flashes here and there. Isaiah
looked good. Yeah.
Yes, I was about to say him. He was probably like the lone really big positive. I think he graded out at like a 90.8, which is the best by far among Cardinal defenders. So he's making plays again.
I mean, he's filling holes. He's obviously we know that he can cover and then he can make plays as far as interceptions and breakups. But what I was pleased to see this week was him filling holes and using his shoulders and being Isaiah Simmons. So it was kind of cool.
Physical. Yeah. We talked about how shitty the run defense was, but they did step up in the second half. Like
I'll say mostly because Dalvin Cook was hurt on and off in the second half. Yeah. But they held up good enough. I don't care who was out there. I mean, they have a pretty solid backup still, but it wasn't good. Let's not sugarcoat it. It was bad. It was terrible.
Yeah. Well, my biggest concern is the Vikings. Their like offense is a zone run, like scheme. Like they run a zone rushing attack, and that's exactly what the Niners and the Rams do. Right. So it doesn't look good. Like there's definitely some film to be watching. If you're Vance Joseph, there's some things that you need to try and do differently, because if you just have the Vikings do that and gash you with that same scheme that those two division rivals run, then we need to get our shit together there a little bit and come with a different plan.
It's good to note that neither the Niners or the Seahawks have Dalvin Cook, who's a top 2-3 back in the league. So that's good. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we'll get into kind of a newer segment. We're going to go with the flying high point of the game, the point of the game where we're feeling our best and we're like, holy shit, we are going to win. And then the rock bottom point of the game where we have lost all hope and there's a 0% chance that we come away with a W here. So I'll say the point of the game where I was feeling my best was probably after the Kirk 4th down conversion. We're trailing at that point. We're moving into field goal range, and then it kind of stalls, and it's like, okay, Cliff puts his nuts on the table. We're going to go for it. It's 4th and 5. The Vikings come with an all-out blitz. It leaves Kirk open on a post route, and Kyler off his back foot again, like we saw against the Titans in week 1. Just steps back, throws a fadeaway with both his feet off the ground, and throws a perfect pass to Kirk for the first down. At that point, it's like, okay, we're at the 10-yard line. We're going to run this clock out. We're going to put 7 on the board, and this game's going to be iced. but
Right.
we stall again. We have to settle for a field goal. And then we get into the rock bottom portion of the game. We kick the field goal, kick the ball off to the Vikings. Vikings just work their way down the field. The specific point where I thought all was lost is it's a 3rd and 10. The defense makes 2 stops, and they're right at the 50, maybe a little before midfield. And Thielen gets a first down on 3rd and 10, runs across the field on the sideline. It's like, oh, shit, we have 1 timeout. There's a minute left. They're going to milk this out, and we're going to lose on the last-second field goal. Thank God it didn't end up happening. But those are the 2 high and low points for me. And
my low is slightly similar. My rock bottom was the punt on the Cardinals' last drive. Because you go out there, you want points, like you need something, and for them to go 3 and out, that was demoralizing to say the least. And then another kind of rock bottom I had as well was Kyler's first pick, because we were kind of rolling. We were kind of rolling. We had 17 points in that second quarter, and it kind of felt like everything was coming together, and then we couldn't be stopped on offense. And then he throws a pick 6, and it kind of fell apart. But the flying high moment I had was Kyler's 3rd touchdown pass to Rondale Moore. You're gonna have to help me a little bit with the situational, but I believe at that point that was we took the lead.
We were trailing 20-14 at the time. So it gave us the lead at that point. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's right. So, one of the reasons I picked that as well was because of the fact that it was that big of a break in coverage. And I kind of thought at that point, okay, the Vikings have played perfect football up until this point. The coverage is broken. We get that big play. They're going to be like, oh shit, we're the Minnesota Vikings. We're not a great football team. Then I thought from there, they would kind of die off, but they held strong, but that's
it was one of those spots where it's like, okay, things are kind of starting to go our way. And then we stay in it. It goes back and forth. And then we got the ultimate, it goes our way play at the end of the game with the missed kick. So at the end of the day, God was an Arizona Cardinal fan on Sunday. We go to 2-0. We'll move on to the 2 birds, 1 stone player of the week. We mentioned it earlier, but Max Williams, we're going to go ahead and award you with this prestigious honor. Congratulations, Max. You are the 2nd ever recipient of the 2 birds, 1 stone player of the week. Feel free to come on the show.
Feel free. Come on.
Yes,
come talk.
We'll clear our schedules. We'll make sure that everything's set up, but
I'll actually have to check mine first, but whatever.
Okay. We'll make sure
we get there.
Yeah, we'll figure that out, but maybe you can come on. We'll see what happens. So congratulations to Max Williams, playing his hometown team, 7 catches for 94 yards, both career highs. So clap it up for Max Williams.
Woo!
Congratulations, Max Williams.
Awesome.
We'll end the show with our bets for the weekend. So you can go first. Mine aren't great.
So I went 1 for 3. I had 3 different parlays going. I'll start with the losers first, so I can end on a good note.
Yeah,
I had the Jets spread, Bills spread, Titans money line. It was plus 1042. I lost, obviously. Zach Wilson threw 4 fucking picks, and he sucks.
I ask you a question. What the fuck are you thinking betting on the Jets against Bill Belichick against a rookie quarterback? You thought for a second that would be close?
I'm sorry you froze. We'll have to cut this out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now you're fine.
What the fuck were you thinking betting on the Jets? A rookie quarterback against Belichick?
I don't know. It was what, 6? Was it 6.5?
It was 6.
6 points. I don't know. I thought Zach Wilson. I don't know. All right. All right. I don't know.
Terrible.
Okay?
That's terrible.
Everyone relax.
Next.
Hey, I don't think you won any bets this weekend. So how about you? So the second one I had that I lost was a prop. Kyler over 1.5 passing touchdowns. They're gonna have to start raising that. I mean, I would hope they
it's
raise
been
that
1.5 week 1 and 2.
Yeah,
That's money,
they're gonna have to
bank.
raise it. If they don't raise that next week, I'm betting a paycheck or something on that because that's ridiculous. So then the second leg of that was James Conner to have over 34.5 rushing yards, and he only had 3, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sucks. But the third one I had was Raiders money line and Cowboys money line. I don't understand why the Cowboys were getting 3.5 points. That makes no sense to me.
When the Chargers is big. A lot of hype on the Chargers.
I don't get the hype on Herbert. I don't get the hype on the Chargers. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So that's why I picked it. And hey, I was right. I was right about the Raiders too. I did bet $20 and win 120. And I won
There you go.
120. So.
It's fantastic return on investment. I cooled off this week. I was 3-0 in week 1. I was up a couple $100. I was feeling fantastic. Then week 2 comes along. And you have to know, as a gambler, I've done this for a couple seasons now. You never stay hot. You never keep winning. It always plateaus. But okay, so this week I had 2 bets. I had the Bills, 2 parlays. I had Bills money line hit, Raiders money line hit. We both had Raiders. Good on us. Mm-hmm. Raiders look good. I had the Raiders, and then I had the Chiefs. That would have been a $120 win, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbles in field goal range, and the Chiefs lose that game. So fuck Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You just cost me some money. Send your game check. That's fine. We make up for it. Send me money. Make up for it, but it's fine. Until then, fuck you. The second one I had the Browns money line. Check. Easy over the Texans. The Bucks money line over the Falcons. Easy money. Didn't even have to think about it. And the Cardinals -3.5. So although the Cardinals won, they did not cover. Good teams win. Great teams cover. So we need to improve there. But 0 for 2 on bets this week. Thank you, Cardinals. Thank you, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But we can improve on that. Next week, we get at it again, and we try again, and we throw our hat in the ring, and we see what happens. We build and build and build.
That's all you can do in the gambling world.
We build until we're rich.
Absolutely. And we will be one day, right? Understand?
Any quick thoughts about the Jaguars week 3? They look so bad.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad for Lawrence. I don't know. I'm at the point where I don't know. Is it Lawrence's fault? You don't think so, do you?
Can't be, no. I mean, Urban Meyer has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, I feel like I would be completely shocked if Urban Meyer's there for a full season. I would be shocked. If you could bet on that, I would.
USC job is open.
That's what I'm saying.
He may be going back to college. But yeah, no, I mean, it's in Jacksonville. This game smells stinky. It seems like one of those. I hope we don't take our opponent lightly. I think it'll be hard for us to do that after such a close game here in the home opener, but fingers crossed, we'll see. So far, 2-0 on our record predictions. We are perfect so far again. 2-0.
People called this crazy. They called this crazy. They called this stupid. They called this names. And all I can say is check the scoreboard, bitch. We're 2-0. You know what I mean?
2-0. All right. So week three in Jacksonville. I think it's an early kickoff. Let's build on it. 3-0 incoming. We'll be back again next week. Until then, go Birds.
See y'all.